Good evening. Just noticed the amazing colours today. Even without the effects, the colours were pretty I thought I'd capture Look at this. Big dark cloud. Subjects just going around. Apparently those sounds are meant to be airplanes or something. I mean, adjusting this particular card is clearly something else. If only they could incorporate some of that red colour to vary the detail, and then we could perhaps see a bit more. So I'll ask them if they can do that. You can somehow bring the detail out a bit more for us, so we can see more. That would be great. As you can see, there's definitely echoes of something going on there. You can see the shapes emerging within the cloud itself. Obviously, when I do the symmetry. I mean, it gives it like a triangle shape. In the context of itself. Which way do we go? I think this way would be good. I think there's an awareness going on here that's creating these patterns. Some kind of conscious. To me, it's a very good. I see it for it. I try to look at it as a positive thing. It's a sign that there are things out there we may not comprehend, but actually the fact that they're communicating in this manner suggests to me that actually it could be quite very positive. And I think partly our own intentions, our own desires, or whatever attachments to those concepts will influence how it goes anyway. But it'd be nice if they could show us some very definitive faces, perhaps, something that goes beyond pareidolia. That would be quite special. Something that basically proves that there's obviously something out there doing this. And I think it's happening. I think they watch this too. I don't know how they do it. I think they do. So just trying a different settings. You'll notice that it's almost as if they've moved to the side deliberately, so they can. I have to say that the setting that I used to try and get that effect, it's called sharpen, but it seems to do a lot more than sharpen. It almost enhances it in such a way that it changes the way the light. It just enhances where the light and the shadows are. So what's emitting light, what's reflecting light, what's void of light. See? It's almost as if they know. And, you know, I have felt often, I've had experienced a feeling that I'm being spoken to by whoever's responsible for this. Usually in our mind, it starts with a kind of a test. We ask each other, are you listening? And then I wait to hear if are you listening is repeated back to me. And if it is, I go, yes, I'm listening. And then I put a lot of effort into just trying to go quiet and pay attention to what's going on inside my mind, which is actually not as easy as it sounds, really. But I think these faces are kind of proving without a doubt. Sometimes pareidolia is pareidolia. so obvious, so in your face, you still notice it, even if it's not necessarily a humanoid face. It could be a cat, for instance. It could be a dog-like face, who knows? It could be anything. I've seen plenty of cats. Oh, I just need to stretch. There we go. My aim is to just turn that down a bit. And my aim is to hopefully, while this is running, if I get myself into the right state of mind, I might be able to connect and see if there's anything within that's worth repeating. Just need to act a little faster, maybe. Or maybe I need to flip this. Oh, here we go. So it almost looks like it's a man behind a control panel in the middle. But then there's a smaller man. It looks like a man. Ah, okay. So then it's like. And there's these 3 different sections which are coming down over the man, which also form a face. Looks like a bird-like face. I wonder if those blue avian things might actually be real. Not that I'm interested in joining the blue chicken cult, but I believe there may be avian-based species out there. We're not just talking about our feathered friends out in the backyard or in local parks or wherever. I'm talking about, evolved beings to the same, at least to the same level that we are, if not more. They might not even be physical anymore. Here we go. So I've got the, look at that. Oh man. It's amazing what this thing does. It sharpens it to the point where it, look at that. There's eyes and faces. This is uncanny. And the thing is, it repeats over and over again. It's not just random occurrences. This is something that's repeatable. Now, I don't know if I'd be able to repeat it in another location. Because, I mean, for all I know, the fact that I'm the one that's doing it and it's here, and it's this particular format, the way I set this up, it might be specifically because of that. I'm not saying that there's anything special about me or anything, but the fact that this is happening and it's based on this, my camera, I am kind of thinking there's some kind of awareness or consciousness that is localized up there, perhaps somewhere, that is aware of what I'm doing and somehow communicating through these different things. And there's a difference between something that appears to be. See, the pareidolia, I think, is it's more of a localized, personal phenomenon. You know, it's very subjective, and what I think the aspect of pareidolia where the issue comes in is when there really is a face there. You know, there really is something that looks like a very distinctive face. Now, pareidolia is like kind of like their way of saying, well, there's nothing meaningful here. We can just ignore it. It's only because we think it's a face. Therefore, you know, people attribute meaning to it, and they don't realize that actually we need to attribute meaning to it in order to try and find some understanding. You know, what we see outside of ourselves is reflected back inside. So when I look at this stuff, I'm always reminded that although I am physically looking outward, I may as well be looking into a mirror, or the internal world is reflected back through the physical manifestation in this material realm. Well, that looks like a cube to me. Look at the cube-shaped cloud. How unusual. Oh, there's definitely something going on there anyway. It's not the cloud so much, it's the bits which aren't cloud as well, which are important. Look at those edges. It's like a pyramid or a diamond shape. See what's going on the other side. Well, it seems to be passing by pretty quickly now. You can definitely tell there's some kind of spaceship-esque kind of motifs going on there. It's kind of like an eye there, isn't it? The other day, my previous live stream, there was a gentleman who had gone over to the park, and there's a bandstand there. And so he basically went into the bandstand and with a speaker and a microphone and started singing out loud and all this stuff. It was actually really amusing. I think it may have annoyed a few people perhaps, but I couldn't resist recording it. You know, maybe it'll be a really good sample in the future if I was to get back to making any music or anything. I wouldn't mind getting back to making some music, but part of me is kind of, you know, I'm not a musician really, I'm an artist, so I'm coming at it from a perspective of wanting to create patterns and other such things. A different kind of way of doing it, I suppose, but I don't work with musical instruments so much, but I can do the musical arrangements and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve for me, being a non-artist making music. Oh, sorry, a non-musician artist making music. So I was distracting myself with Discord. How rude of me. Well, it looks like that's it for now anyway. Oh, it's a message from Willy Woo, the birdie. Anything to say, Willy Woo? No. Oh, this time. If I do that, it does get some attention. They're just far away. They're not close by, but it sounds good. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, but just a short one, really. It's an interesting. Some interesting shapes and forms coming. It's got forms, but. Okay, take care for now. I'm just going through my own stuff right now. I'm doing a lot of contemplating. A lot of stuff that basically I was doing back in January when I didn't have the computer. Just I had a lot of time to think then, but also I was kind of in the process. I felt really like all over the place, so trying to keep myself busy, that kind of thing. But, even though I've got a new computer now, it seems that the theme so far this year is about resting, review, reflection. It's been like that pretty much since January. Since the new year started. And in fact, quite a bit. Well, basically, it's the last 6 months, really. So, in the last part of half of last year, the last 2 months. So, in particular, there's felt a real big emphasis on reviewing. I have all of my possessions on my blog. Deciding on what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of, decluttering, spiritually, energetically, and physically, and it's amazing, really, actually, how much of an energetic change just throwing out some old stuff that you don't use or see or need anymore. Even just seeing it for the first time in 20 years can be quite an energetic experience. So turn that back down again. So yeah, it's actually the reflection and the review thing. Thankfully, having a new computer has allowed me to, this is something I was planning to do anyway. But having a new computer and everything is now giving me the excuse and the kick up the ass that I needed to start organising my files and going through stuff and trying to save space and get my entire all of my work more organised and sorted out. Especially from the work of the last 3 or 4 years, there is so much of it, and I basically just never organised it. I don't know what the hell came over me. I've never been so disorganised as I have been in the last 3 years. So that, yeah, just got to do that reviewing and reflection. And now we're literally, I think it's today, the Mercury retrograde has started. And yeah, yeah, Mercury retrograde. Which, yeah, and the best thing to do during Mercury retrograde is also to, rest up, reflect, review, that kind of thing. So more of the same thing, and it seems that the turning of the wheel, these different energies are going around the astrological side of it. It's almost as if the way it's going is that it's all. I mean, the moment one thing happens to change it, that may take it off course of the review things. So another planetary alignment will happen, or aspect, or whatever you want to call it. And it's almost as if it's changing just in time to continue the theme, So I think that theme of review and reflection at the moment is a really big one, because it's only in hindsight do we have 2020 vision, right? In hindsight. And so that does mean it's almost as if we have to go back over old work, over all of our doings since we've been born, type of thing, and almost as if we need to seek inspiration. Maybe we missed something, or maybe there's something we did back then that has always been in the back of our mind, or some kind of anchor point for a potential new beginning, maybe. And so yeah, it's totally worth it. And on top of, after all that, after doing going through some of my old schoolwork and my old portfolio and stuff, is doing a video about that, and now kind of thinking, oh, maybe I should do a video on the artwork that I did post school, and yeah, the kind of how the digital work, because that's basically what ended up happening. I was in and out of university a few times, not a couple, a few, over the last 20 years. I tried it over and over again, and I just didn't learn that lesson. For some reason, I just couldn't see past the fact. I just want to do this. I've got to do this. This is the only way. And I was so consumed in that thing, and I made the same mistake over and over again. I couldn't see it. And so, obviously that's not the way I'm supposed to go. The fact that it took me so many times and a lot of fucking debt, that's the painful bit, I suppose. I was just trying to get better, man. And the initial couple of times was around the time when you would normally go, and then I tried again a few years later after working and having a breakdown. So it was kind of man. It's been an intense ride. And it feels like now the next thing to do is to try to start simplifying my life. Even though I've just ended up getting a new computer, right? Fair enough, but I need to start simplifying. If that can't be simplified, then other things need to be simplified around it as well. And to be quite honest, I do live fairly simply, actually, very simply. So I don't know if I could probably go without electricity or running water, but I certainly wouldn't. I'm getting to that point where I certainly wouldn't mind, living in a space that's closer to nature, really. And further away from other humans. It's either that or I, make the most of being in London while I still am, and try to take the opportunity to meet people and expand that way. That means breaking through a number of barriers which are relating to mental health concerns, so anxiety, depression. Yes, I think you can still reach many stages of enlightenment and still be depressed, still experience depression, still experience anxiety. If you're prone to it, if you're, I know that a lot of it we make ourselves, but I do also think that, there's some kind of, our biology, our genetics also play a part in that, in determining how we turn out, and our upbringing most definitely. So build back up again. It takes a long time, It's part of that process of deep self-reflection and learning how to live with myself. That's what he does. So there was change eventually, but it was almost like I went down the wrong path, and I just became too self-concerned and too self-absorbed, actually, and I didn't even realise it. That's the thing, when you're so self-absorbed, you don't even know that you're self-absorbed. And then people kind of say, but then you realise that most people are self-absorbed, so that's the problem. So self-absorbed that they don't even notice anything happening around them. They're just trying to get through their experience. And sometimes the only way you can relate is through your own self-absorbed observations. That's the only way anyone can relate. It's the only way that any of us can empathise is, if we put ourselves in their shoes, and that thing that is ourselves, we can't really escape that. So anyway, it's now pretty clear night, actually. Interesting. My stream has been set back to unlisted. Again. That's very interesting. We'll put that back to public, shall we? Changes are being saved. Damn right. I can make it unpublic. You bastards. Anyway, time to go. I've rambled on enough. I just needed to get some shit out and say stuff whilst filming weird shit. So take care. Speak soon.